What's up, fella?
Why
Man,
is
what's
this
the
dude
deal?
sideways? Okay, yeah. What the fuck are
Oh
you?
man, what you over there doing? The break dancing?
Yes, sir. How y'all
Man,
doing, man? Throw the
what's
Towel
the going
Sports
on, world?
Podcast. Man, we back, baby.
Yes,
Yeah, y'all know what it is, man. Throw the Towel Sports Podcast. It's your boy, King James the Pharaoh. Tuned in as always with my ace boom coons. Ace Juice, Captain Great, and oh, y'all see we got a fourth in the building. We told y'all what was coming up, man. My man, the one, the only, Big Ron
man, come
Crab.
on, y'all.
What's poppin', y'all?
Man, man, y'all get that man some claps, man. And also known as Buck Sexton. He is the big dog, you know what I'm saying? If not,
It is the Buck Sexton, all right?
Oh,
the,
the
hey, hey.
A fan of the Ohio State Buckeyes, the
See,
national
look,
champions.
see. All right, y'all,
ah,
ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all
Already
coming
not
out,
making
man. And
friends.
look, we appreciate y'all coming on, y'all. It was a good show. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all go like, comment.
hey, and remember, don't make us throw the towel in on your ass.
Look, now we got to throw it in on Ryan. You know what I'm saying? Hey, no, man. Shout out to the whole squad, man. Shout out to everybody. Thank you, Ron, for coming up in here, giving your time up to us, man, and
Yo,
letting us, get to know way more than, what I'm saying, what meets the eye about you to the world. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for coming to Throw the Towel Sports Podcast, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Oh, man, it's an honor, man. We always honored to have, fresh faces, you know what I'm saying, in our place, so welcome, man. Welcome to the home.
hey,
Appreciate
mi
y'all.
casa is su casa. As long as you let me use anything you got Ohio State as a doormat, so people, when they come in, they can see.
Hey,
Right.
That,
it's fine. It's fine. We got a ring last night, so we
Uh,
get to celebrate for a year.
hey, shout out to Ohio State though, hell of a championship game.
Man, hell of a
Um,
game.
you know what I'm saying? Notre Dame, for those that don't know, I don't know where the hell you been, but Notre Dame Fighting Irish played the Ohio State Buckeyes in the national championship, the first real college national championship from the 16 team playoffs. Um, it was a good game if you a Notre Dame fan,
Yeah,
great game if you were an Ohio State fan. Um,
yeah,
you know, shout out to Marcus Freeman. You took them boys there. Uh, you know, did a great job.
most
They fought to
definitely,
the
man.
end.
Yeah.
I got on all black for the funeral.
Hey,
Um,
look, I got on merch. You know what I'm saying? It ain't on.
but
It might
they
look
fought to the
Ohio
end.
red, but it's all right.
They fought to the end. So now that's out the way. Uh, my man, Big Ron in the building, man. World Pro Wrestling. Tell us a little bit about World Pro Wrestling, man.
Warrior Pro.
Excuse
That
me,
with me. That
Warrior
with me.
Pro. I,
That with
I,
me.
my mistake.
You know.
I got to think about world champions over here with this Ohio State guy, man. It
Oh
hurts.
yeah, man. Don't let it scramble. Don't let it scramble you, dog.
It
Don't let it
hurts.
scramble you,
It
man.
hurts, man. Y'all know it hurts. But yeah, man. Tell us about Warrior Pro Wrestling, man. Give us the rundown.
Man, Warrior Pro was the dream of a 6 or 7 year old kid come true. I grew up a wrestling fan. I was, if you can see behind me, we got some NWO photos here. There's another one directly behind me. Um,
Yeah.
I was hooked as a kid. I couldn't get over just how awesome it was. Like it is the perfect form of entertainment because it gives everybody everything. When it comes to wrestling, there's action, there's drama, there's comedy, uh, and it's all man, it's had me hooked my whole life. You know, I'll be. Ooh, I just turned 35. Ugh, that's gross. But just turned
Hey man,
35,
don't say
and
that, man. We still young out here, man. We still got some time. We can't
and
we can't
so
feel like that.
man, hey, you put your body through what I do in the ring and have done for the better part of the last 8 years, uh, combined with running very very hard in my 20s. Yeah, my body's catching up with it for sure.
I
But
feel you.
man, it sparked because most people, they watch wrestling and they gravitate to, the big stars, The Rock, the Stone Colds, John Cena, just the big over the top, larger than life characters. I personally gravitated towards the business side of it. I am a 100% diehard Eric Bischoff fan.
Okay,
I
that's
I
different.
Yeah, I fell in love with that side of things, and watching his character on TV
Right.
be what it was while also being the guy in charge. Without
Okay.
Eric Bischoff, there's no NWO. Without the Eric Bischoff character, Vince McMahon doesn't force himself on TV to be the Mr. McMahon character that everybody knows, the evil billionaire who, after watching the Netflix documentary, man, like, definitely blurred the lines between the real guy and the character quite a bit in the
Hmm.
late 90s, early
Some people like
2000s.
to say, me personally, is what's funny about Vince McMahon is I used to think that was really Vince. You know what I'm saying? Like some people's character tend to shine through their personal life actions, right?
Hey,
And that's the thing. Like some people they try to capture that. They want to capture that in their character so they can capture the people. Because if you too corny, if you too you know what I mean, too cartoony, it's a wrap. So yeah, I definitely hear you on that. Go ahead, dog. I didn't mean to cut
hey,
you off. Just wanted to throw that in
no,
there.
no, you're good. I mean, you're right. I mean,
Hmm.
I came on here starting heat because I saw the Notre Dame sweatshirt. Like,
I came in
uh,
peace, brother.
the
I came in peace.
the
It's just
the
cold here.
Hey, the line between Ron Kraft and Buck Sexton. I joke around all the time that Buck is who I really am. Ron's the character that has to go out and be nice to people. I mean, hey, James spent plenty of time in front of me in the block, hearing some of the things I would yell out and say off the dome. Like, that's me.
But
That is the unadulterated, uncut, raw version of myself. Is when I get to put on the fur coat and the fur hat and go out and talk. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah,
What?
absolutely.
Hey, all
hell
right.
More
To
the
yeah.
go out
merrier.
and talk all
Let them
my
Oh,
fly,
wait
shit.
a
man. Let them
minute. Where
fly.
the drop at? Where the drop at? Right. Matter of fact, can we
Hey, I
cuss?
get. Hey, I'm always. It's not my place. I don't let guys cuss in my ring, so I always ask permission first. There it
Look,
is.
in the words of Stone Cold, exactly.
Hey,
Curse.
um, but getting back to it, in high school, like, when it came to English classes and things like that, I wasn't engaged.
Hmm.
And I had a teacher that said she didn't care what books we read as long as we read books. And so I
Nah,
gravitated I
like
gravitated
those teachers.
towards I started reading wrestling autobiographies. Read Stone Cold's,
Mm.
read Shawn Michaels, read like 3 Foley books, read Jericho's book. But the one that stuck out with me, I wish I had it here. It's actually in my office at work. I still have my hard copy that is just beat to hell, of Controversy Creates Cash by Eric Bischoff, and learning his pathway into going from being a meat salesman to running what for 83 weeks was the largest wrestling company in the world, with absolutely no
Wasn't he
experience.
like a accountant or two or something like that too? Something like that?
Man, hey, he
Like
met his
before when
wife.
he came into that, I think he was like an accountant
Yeah,
or something like that. One of them
he
jobs. I
he
remember.
he he did just about everything. His
Right.
first gig on screen, he was just happened to be the only one in the office at AWA that had a sport coat with him at the time, and they just grabbed him and threw him in front of the camera. And I gravitate toward that even more so now, because my life has been a collision of unexpected, fortunate events, being in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people at the right time, to
Hmm.
drag to I grew up living in a trailer, and now I have a very, very nice living. Let's just put it that way.
What
Um,
what was that moment? What was that spark? that made
Yeah,
you say,
like
you know
that
what,
unique, that one
I
unique
can
approach.
I
That
can
boom.
do this? Like,
Yeah.
what made you say, you know what, let me get a ring? What,
Uh,
give us that story.
again, just happenstance creates the best opportunities. Was playing softball on my men's league on a Sunday night and had a buddy filling in, and he's playing first base, pop up into foul territory. He's running over there, just watching the ball only, hits the fence, just goes down hard as hell, and looked like he just rocked the back of his head on the ground. And so as we walked off the field, I looked at him, I'm like, hey man, you okay? Like, it looked like you really hit your head pretty hard. And he's like, no, the one thing I learned in wrestling training was to keep my chin tucked. That's all I needed to hear. Fuck the rest of the softball game. Tell me about this.
Like,
And
what else is you learning?
I was 26, about to turn 27. And the next week, went to a show, talked to the promoter. 2 weeks later, I started in the ring. Spent, gosh, the better part of 3 years paying my dues, learning the business, training, wrestling all over the state. Just soaking up as much knowledge as I could, not just about what goes on in the ring, but the behind the scenes. Because again,
Hmm.
Bischoff was my guy. And so I'm learning, watching how concessions are sold, watching how tickets are sold, watching how the bookers put together the matches and the stories and things like that. And again, COVID happens, and an unfortunate event turns into a great opportunity for me. The place I was working, in Columbus, Indiana. Shout out Jerry Wilson and HPW, and Flash Flanagan down there. They had hooked their wagon to me, made me their champion, and then March of 2020 happens, and the whole business shut down. And Jerry was looking to sell, and I called my dad. I said, "Hey, I got a business idea," and my dad is 1,000% my biggest fan. I mean, I've got his
Facts.
silhouette.
Great guy too.
Hey, yeah,
Great guy
great.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, teenage Ron wouldn't think so much, but adult Ron definitely will back you up on that, James. My dad is 1,000% my biggest fan. I've got his silhouette tattooed on my chest of him cheering me at a Turner's Block event.
Hmm.
Actually, it was in the bottom of the video, silhouette of him. So I called him and I'm like, hey, here's what I want to do. He said, I got enough money on my credit card. Let's do it. I talked to my then wife and said, hey, look, like, this is what I want to do. And she was gracious enough to tell me, hey, look, you're going to do it regardless. So let's do it. And I bought my ring in September of 2020 and sat on it for a year. Most people would have just like tried to rush back as quick as possible or rush into it. And I sat on it knowing it was an investment. And I meticulously put it together. And September 12th of 2021, right here, we had our first show here in Danville. I think we had pretty close to 200 paid tickets that day. Um, Walked through the
Sweet.
curtain to start the first show, and the goosebumps were the size of a mountain, man. Like, if you've seen The Rock come out recently, and he always points to the goosebumps on his arms, like,
Yeah.
I had that moment. It wasn't in front of thousands and thousands of people, but it was a
Yours.
couple hundred people here, and they were here because of me.
Yeah.
Like, the guys in the back took a chance on me. I told everybody, hey, look, I'm so deep into this. I can't pay everybody for this first show, but what I can do is promise you that if you come to this one and you keep coming back, you're never going to miss a payday. I'm very proud of the fact that as an independent, um, I have never once not paid any of my talent, to be on shows. That is very uncommon in this business,
Yeah.
especially at this level. Lots of guys show up to shows. I've done it plenty, and at the end of the night, you see envelopes going around, and your name ain't on any of them. And you just kind of, okay, well, I guess he doesn't see the value in me. I always took that as a challenge of, okay, well, if you don't see the value in me, I'm going to give you a reason to see value in me. And it's helped me grow my character and myself, at other places, because not just at my show, but I wrestle other places as well. I'll be making my debut in Warsaw, this coming Saturday for FWF. Shout out to Lightning Bolt Johnson, for bringing me and a couple of my guys in, giving us an opportunity, up
Nice.
there. So very excited for that. But it's just been it's been a hell of a ride so far since that September night in 2021. We've had just amazing crowds. We've had amazing talent come through. Had just fantastic matches.
So I done did
And it's
I done did my homework video wise of watching, because I'm something like, Eric Spoelstra when it comes to the visuals, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm the guy in the camera room, you know what I mean, as my friends would like to say. Uh I seen you had Mick Foley and a few other great, you know what I'm saying, guys just come through, and it's always cool, like you said, when you at that level, you know what I mean? Like to keep everything fresh with relationships and stuff, like what's some game that they didn't share with you, like if you willing to take your business, or you know what I'm saying, you get to that point, like say, tomorrow you just blow up, right? And then there's some people that want to come holler at your guys and come how would you go about doing that? And did somebody share that with you?
Man, it has been a learning experience every step of the way. Again, I talked about Jerry and Flash.
Hmm.
There's been a lot of guys that, for one reason or another, saw something in me and took a chance. So I would be remiss if I didn't talk and shout out Joey Owens, who runs WCWO downtown Indianapolis. They run every Friday night. They're about to have a huge show the night before the Rumble. Chavo Guerrero, Mr. Kennedy going to be in attendance. It's
Okay.
going to be fantastic. So if anybody's watching and they're in the area next week for the Rumble, check those guys out.
Will do.
Larry Poffo in Crawfordsville has given me a lot of leeway and free reign to write my own stories up there, telling some great stories. I am easily the most hated person in that building every time I'm there, which is fantastic.
Hey, I know a
I
guy
live
named
for that.
Ace. He kind of sounds like this guy I know.
I
Ace.
was just about
Oh,
to say
there
that,
he
man. We
is.
know somebody named
Yeah,
Ace. Yeah, he the same way, man. He's
yeah. Every time he
uh,
walks in the building.
most hated.
yeah, hey, 1,000%. Like I go out
I
there,
love getting
I
booed
go.
though, honestly.
Hey, I go out there and my number one goal is to get somebody to want to hit me, to the point where people have had to be escorted out of that building in Crawfordsville because they have tried to slide in the ring during one of my segments. I got shoved by a fan a few months ago, and they
Leaping
had to be
Larry.
talked to. Hey, they had to be talked to by the police that were there to be like, hey, keep your hands to yourself. Don't touch the wrestlers. If I can get a reaction like that out of somebody, that says they're invested in me. And more importantly, that means they're going to be invested in seeing me get my ass kicked, which is going to make them pay money every single month to come see who's going to be the one to finally kick my ass. Newsflash: it ain't none of those jabronis up in Crawfordsville, especially Jesse Winchester. Um, but
Uh-oh. Hey, look,
yeah,
Uh-oh,
uh-oh, that
Jesse.
was a
You better
shot,
calm
Jesse.
down.
hey,
Jake
that
Paul's
that
gonna
was
call
a
you out
shot.
next.
All right. Hey, that was a shot. Clip it, put it everywhere. All right. Fuck
Hey.
Jesse Winchester. All right.
Woo.
So,
Oh
Hey,
man. We
hey,
got
but
Bond, we got Bonds in here or something.
hey. Just know,
Hey, Jesse, it's a sad
hey,
day for you right now.
we're just messengers. Throw the Towel Sports Podcast in no shape, form, or fashion do we support.
We didn't tell we didn't tell him to come in here and crash out. We didn't tell him to do that. Just right there. That was just a little, that was tiny.
we
That
don't
was
want no
tiny.
smoke, Jesse. But you
no.
could come on and tell us about it.
Right. You can come
Hey,
and battle back now. We will.
hey. You
You
know
know,
what?
put the fire under the
If
flame.
he
You
wants
know?
to come in, if he wants to come in and run his mouth, that's fine. Because February 22nd in Crawfordsville, I'm gonna shut it. Period.
Oh shit.
All right.
Let's
Hey.
go.
So,
Okay, I likes that.
Challenge.
but
Ace,
Hey.
Ace,
I
did you
likes
have some
that. Hey.
you had some questions you wanted? You had something you wanted to holler at him about?
Say what now?
Was it Buck Sexton or was it Ryan that you wanted to have some questions for?
Look, we
Before
got we got questions coming out of the chat too. Shout out Levi
So
Jones.
I do have a question for I don't know, whoever wants to answer here. We're gonna go Ron or the Buck Sexton. All right. When you were growing up, you were talking about watching wrestling and everything, who was your favorite wrestler? Not understand Eric Bischoff was the most influential person, but what wrestler did you look at and you're just like, damn, I wish I could do that?
Hey, when you're NWO for life. All right. Hey, it didn't matter who it was. That black and white T-shirt, that's who I was rooting for. Didn't matter who was wearing it. As long as they were rocking the NWO colors, I was here for it. Now, I will say, a lot of the things that I've tried to take and put into my own repertoire are guys that I grew up really, really enjoying their matches. Huge DDP fan, huge Sting fan.
Okay.
So, one of my
DDP
finishes was
was
a cutter.
underrated.
DDP is the GOAT. Like when you think about it, the fact that he didn't even get in the business until he was 35,
Right.
and not only did he become a world champion at WCW, but all the things he's done since then, helping guys rehabilitate, get their bodies back
Man.
right. He gave us
Yeah.
an extra 10 years with Scott Hall before Scott
Facts.
passed away. He's got
Facts.
Jake Clean. He got Butterbean back walking again. He's working on
Yeah.
Buff Bagwell right
Yeah.
now.
Hey, DDP is
Just
definitely a life changer for real,
DDP
man.
yoga,
Shout
man.
out to DDP
hey,
yoga and all that. You know what I
I
mean? Like,
love I
For
love
those that
DDP
he,
don't
yoga.
know, that's Diamond Dallas Page. For those that don't, let me just
yeah.
yeah.
Bang.
Yep.
The man that actually sued Jay-Z and Rockefeller and won.
Right.
And one. Make
Yeah.
sure you say that part.
So I
Y'all
was
One.
y'all gonna look that up too.
Yeah, so a lot of my influences is WCW. I was a huge WCW kid, obviously.
Okay.
I didn't watch any WWE until after WCW closed. Like all the
So pretty much like the
Undertaker, Stone
Attitude Era, you
Cold.
caught a lot of that.
I caught my side of the Monday Night Wars. I've watched every documentary WWE's put out on all of the guys from the '80s, the '90s, the Attitude
Yeah.
Era, all that stuff. My first episode of Raw I ever watched was the night that Goldberg debuted, and it's only because I heard Goldberg was coming into WWE that I was like,
Mm.
okay, cool, I'll tune in and check this
You're like, I
out.
might as well see what these other bums are up to.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was I think April of 2003, and I haven't turned it off since. So obviously they hooked me back that night. Had they not,
So it
who
was
knows if
Goldberg. So it was Goldberg that hooked you to
it
WWE.
That
it was
really
it
brung
was
him
it
over
was
there, huh?
it was seeing a WCW guy get
Having to
that
go
because
into that mode with them.
yeah, because there
That
was a
was it
lot
was
of
huge
WC
back then. That was some of the
Yeah,
biggest,
yeah
you know what I'm saying? That
yeah.
was some of the biggest stuff. And
yeah
I definitely can go back there with you because me personally, I was torn in a sense because it was like I had to flick back and forth on the TV channels during breaks just to try to see what was happening on Nitro. And then I switched back to WWF, you know what I mean? Known as WWE now. Then, I'm talking about I watched every Saturday show from Thunder. I watched every Thursday show, WCW from Thunder. Before it was a SmackDown or any of that, you know what I mean? It was only Saturday night main events and Monday Night Raw. You know what I'm saying? When
yeah
WWF had it. WCW brought a lot to the table. And they was, like he said, it was like they were the top dogs in a sense, like they took over for a minute. Vince McMahon was forced to come from behind the curtain because not only he was just the announcer dude and the booker and stuff like that, but everybody was trying to incorporate him at that time. And it just so happened Eric Bischoff, coming to do what he was doing and like how he just like he said, they pulled him off of the meat market and threw him right in front of the camera. He killed it the first time, and after that they never let him go until everything took its toll, you know what I'm saying? But I can honestly say I was torn at that time as well, but I'm a man, I'm just a wrestling baby in general. Like I can recall having the wrestling stuffed animals in my living room. Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan stuffed animals when they used to come to the Joyce Center
Wrestling
in
buddies.
Notre Dame.
Did you have one of them back in the day, the little wrestling buddies?
Man, I had
Yeah.
all of it, bro. I'm
Oh, hell
talking
yeah, man.
about
Those are
all
worth
of
some
it,
money
bro.
nowadays, too. I wish
Man,
I
hell
had just
yeah.
whooped their asses for 3 or
I'm
4
talking about
years at a time.
wrestling cards.
Yeah.
Like you said, NWO took over, bro. Like and it was to the point where me and my boys at school, like we've created that. We recreated that moment. You know what I mean? It was like DX. It was either you was DX or you was NWO. Like it was no point in between, you know.
See,
And
I'm, I got,
it's
I'm the,
hard.
I'm the
No
OG
Diddy, it
on
was
the show.
hard.
I'm the OG on the show, so I gotta be honest, man. You know me, I I'm a throwback guy. I'm like when I seen Junkyard Dog for the first time, right? It was like,
Yeah,
what?
that
They
was
got
my favorite wrestler.
they got a they got a nickel though, like
Not
not
knowing that
no
they had, not knowing that they had Ron, uh, homie from
What? Ron
AP,
Simmons.
Ron Simmons. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
had
Hey.
him and a few
right,
other people.
right. But you
Yeah.
gotta realize, you know what I'm saying? The first person I see on the screen that's a brother
No,
is,
JYD definitely was up there.
and it's like, what? So boom, that's WWF at the time. You know what I'm saying? That hooked
Hmm.
me from right there, right? And then, my dad played football and
Tony
he
Atlas.
coached wrestling. So to us, it was, oh, that's fake. Watch that fake.
Oh.
So now I really gotta
Oh.
watch,
Now
right?
that's the F
Right?
word. That's the F word
Right?
right there that I can't hear.
Well, you gotta
No,
remember, this is '80s, right? And my dad, I gotta be honest with you, my dad is a wrestler. He don't lose. He from high school to college, and then he coached it. He's got state champions under his belt, right?
Mhm.
Like he's taking teams, right, to state championships, right? This is my pops. So growing up in our house, wrestling
Yeah.
is wrestling, right? So when I'm gonna tell you something. So then when you get, you know, you get a real wrestler of WWE, right? I'm like, Dad, tell me he fake though, right? Because you know, so that's what draw me in. Because Pops is like, you can't watch that shit. That shit fake. So you gonna
So
tell me,
what,
you know,
King Kurt Angle saved it for you?
yeah. Well, Kurt Angle, he wouldn't go in, but I'm like, Dad, that's a real wrestler though, right? And he's getting paid, right? So
yeah.
now, as a kid, anything they tell you in the '80s that you can't do, oh, I'm finna sneak and do that shit. You tell me I can't smoke cigarettes, I'm you tell
About to
me I
go try
can't
this
drink,
cigarette.
I'm finna drink. You say we can't look at them magazines, we going to look at the magazines, dog. So now you tell me we can't watch wrestling, bro, I'm on it. And so I'm seeing all these pumped up dudes, right? So I'm in it now, right? Because I know real wrestling, because of Pops, real wrestling, right? And now I'm seeing these dudes doing all of this fun shit, right? Like clotheslining the motherfucker look fun as hell, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, so wrestling caught me
No,
there,
that shit's fun as hell.
right?
Hey,
So
that
and then,
that's why my mom wouldn't never let me try out for a wrestling anything for school because she knew I only knew
Like it
punch a
was, you was
motherfucker in the mouth, hit him
fixated
with a steel
already.
chair. So she's
Exactly.
like, you're gonna like you're not gonna.
you
It's not
go,
this. You're
yeah,
not gonna like it.
you gonna
Then he gonna say
DDT
they
somebody,
gonna pick it. Yeah, they gonna pick him up and slam him on his back. He
You
gonna
can't
get up and
just
go get the
missile
chair.
drop kick Trevor, you know?
right?
Yeah.
So I was drawn more to
Shake
those
hands.
characters.
Ah.
Like my favorite besides Demolition, right? My favorite was
Hey,
Nation of
Levi dropping some dimes in here. Go ahead, y'all. I'm listening.
right? Nation of Domination. When I seen the Nation of Domination, I was hooked for life, bro.
Hey, hey, incredible guys. Outside of all of them, but The Rock, we're at Squared Circle Expo last year while we were there because we hosted Bischoff, which was again just like 10-year-old me wouldn't believe that I got to hang out with Eric Bischoff for an entire weekend and make quite a bit of money. Um,
That's dope.
but
Hey yo,
Mark
shout out to that.
Henry,
I seen that. That's
Mark,
I remember I
Ron,
sent you those pictures.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Mark, Ron, Godfather, they were all there. They were all fantastic. Just really nice guys. So the fact, just to let you know, you can meet your heroes and get the experience that you wanted it to be. Because I mean, I got mine with Eric last summer or last spring. We're bringing him in again this year for Squared Circle 5. So be sure to grab your tickets. Come on out. Well, he'll be here for both days this year. It's headlined by Bret Hart. Bret Hart's first autograph
Oh,
signing in Indianapolis in decades.
legend.
Yeah, those guys were fantastic. Um,
You can.
Fantastic guys.
Hey, just to piggyback on that, you can though. Like I like that you said that you can, man. Like real talk. The whole reason that I got to meet this guy and find out about Warrior Pro Wrestling and how great and what's going on is because I got to live my dream by having season tickets last year in the greatest fan zone ever, right? Turner's Block for the Pacers in a breakout season, right? Like if you would have told me, right? You guys too, you two know, but for the fans, if you would have told me, right, 7 years ago, 3 years ago, that hey, you're gonna get up in Turner's Block, right, the
Hmm.
fan zone, right, you're gonna be able to check out the Pacers every home game. I'd have said, yeah, I hope I make that kind of money, and if I do make that kind of money, it ain't gonna be in Indiana. Like I would have told you that. However, it happens. Not
Uh,
only when it
hey, you
happens,
were so nervous. You were so nervous that I because James, you were either right in front of me and my dad or right behind us. But man, the floor was wet with sweat. Like this dude was dripping.
I think we're
He
supposed
was
to have
so nervous.
technicals right now, dog. We're supposed to have
Hey,
some
look, we
technicals.
supposed to have technicals right now. It is.
No, hey, real talk though, dude. Turner's Block is my second family. Like live and breathe with the Pacers, and James having you a part of that family now, not just you were there full time last season, but
Mhm.
you will always be a part of that family. Once you're in Turner's Block, you never go away.
Facts.
Loved having you out. I think it was this past
Saturday.
week. Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah.
Man, just yeah, all love there. You were a great addition to the section last season, and we're gonna make sure you're back to a few more games this year. We'll make it
Definitely.
happen.
Definitely. Yo, so before
Man,
we
and
move,
hold on, before y'all let that slide, right? I can tell right now because I'm not there no more. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to worry about nobody knocking at my door. Uh, I was in pay. I had a chance to come there because I'm a Celtic fan, right? That's my hometown. James, long time. Both of these guys on here, right? Long time friends. You ain't got to hear me, but let me tell you this. Look, number 18. We was I was in Turner's Block to be exact. You know what I'm saying? And that I like the character in that area was out of control for me. Like I didn't know how to control myself. You know what I mean? Like I had to turn into a Pacer fan, right? Not only because I'm there with my best friend, but I'm in Turner's Block, right? And I just so happen to be sitting right in front of y'all with him, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm listening to all these slurs, and I'm just up here dying, right? And I'm like, Dev, I'm like, who is this guy saying all this crazy stuff? I'm like, I need a notepad up in here so I
he
can try
said,
to
he said,
take
I
some
need
of
a
these.
notepad, man. I
You
need to
know,
write
I'm
this
like,
shit
maybe I need
down.
to be recording them. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, man, that's my guy Ryan back there. You know, so him and his dad, or and he got to talking about this stuff. Like, I had a blast though, man, to be honest, because like you said, people don't get to experience stuff like that. For him to be there and him to ask me to come, like I was there for him because I had to turn around and come to the Celtic game at that time, and he was supposed to go there and we were supposed to do a battle thing, but he got sick, and that's a
I
whole
caught the
another
flow.
damn story. But I just had to throw that in there real quick and head over to this next part that
Yeah,
I wanted to ask. Wrestling and sports, you know what I mean? Like not to even separate wrestling from sports because wrestling is a sport. Is to me is like
definitely.
one of the ultimate sports, you know what I'm saying? Because
Definitely a
is you
sport.
get it's four different styles if not more, combat inside of that. You know what I mean? According to MMA and boxing and basketball, football, so forth and so on. Like fandom wise, right? Like what's your take on the industry and the influencing of mainstream, like, with the culture and everything? Like what's your take on that?
I mean, it's the crossover is fantastic. You go back, we mentioned Ron Simmons already.
Yeah.
College football Hall of Famer Ron Simmons, being the first African American world champion that was recognized by a
Right.
major company. And it goes, there's plenty. Roman Reigns played at Georgia Tech with Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Goldberg played for the Falcons. The Rock played with the U, a national champion. The crossover has always been there from real sport to pro wrestling. It takes somebody special to go from one side to the other, because it's not just about being an athlete, it's about being the actor and the stuntman
Okay.
all in one take. But now to see it go back the other direction a little bit, the UFC, Conor McGregor is Ric Flair who really beats the shit out of people. Like, he took everything that the WWE has always done great and rolled it into the notorious Conor McGregor and made millions upon millions. Floyd Mayweather did a lot of the same stuff in boxing, taking WWE inspiration on the way they
Mhm.
cut promos, they talk shit.
Promotion.
Yeah,
McGregor's fantastic, but he's no Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen is
love
one of
Chael.
one, man. One of one.
Yeah.
Adrian Broner.
I was a huge Matt Serra fan as well. Again, I gravitate
Adrian
toward the guys
Broner.
that like to talk a lot of shit. Can we see the worm right here? I don't know if it's low enough or not. We got
Is that
Dennis Rodman.
okay?
Rodman was a part of the NWO. He was him and Karl Malone in the 90s.
Yep.
Him and Hogan versus Malone and DDP.
Yep.
Rodman missed practice during the NBA Finals to be on Nitro.
And came back and still won the championship in the same year.
13 rebounds.
Right?
Out of control.
Come on.
The crossover, now you've got Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson bringing their real life playoff feud to Madison Square Garden on SmackDown during the off season. Getting, again, WWE bringing these stars in. I'm excited for the Rumble to be here. Pat McAfee. I mean, that dude is living. I think Pat McAfee is really who I want to be.
That's what I like to call him. I like to call him Pat Lawler. You know what I'm saying?
Pat
crazy.
is who I really if I had to say whose life I would want if I couldn't have my own, it's Pat McAfee's. Literally, he was a NFL player. Was like, yeah, I'm done with that. Now I'm gonna go and be a podcast host and just host my own show and be a stand-up comedian. He's like, okay, I conquered that. Now I want to wrestle because that's what I've wanted to do since I was a kid. And all of a sudden now he's in WWE and he's literally the hottest thing they've got.
He's actually really good in the ring too, man.
He's fantastic on the ring. He's fantastic on the mic. I love his commentary.
Since we're talking about that,
Pat McAfee.
Since we're talking about that, what, as far as an athlete, right? I don't know if you played any sports in school, but as far as athletic wise, what is the comparison as far as working out, being in shape, cardio, weight lifts?
So there's being in shape and there's being in ring shape. All right, just like you hear about any other sport, how they're in shape but they're not in game shape. It's the same kind of concept because you get in the ring and everything's faster than it feels like, and getting from point A to point B, remembering everything you're supposed to do. I joke all the time. I'm blown up before the match even starts. Like, I'm to the point where I'm as exhausted as I can be from the hype of my entrance to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm huffing and puffing. Like, I've been a bad guy for so long, I haven't really had to do anything when it comes to inside the actual match, because the babyface is the one that really does everything if you're doing it right. The heel, hit somebody, choke somebody, turn around, talk some shit, walk around, let the other guy sell, bump around, those types of things. I worked babyface for the first time in like 3 years this past at our October show in a tag match. So I'm doing as little as possible. And still, I rolled over to the side down onto the apron and looked at my son, and went like that and had him bring me a bottle of water in the middle of the match because I wasn't to where I needed to be to have that match.
Right.
So conditioning is huge. Obviously, you want to make sure you're lifting and things like that because you want to look like you belong. Like part of the thing that bothers me about a lot about independent wrestling, even though I'm not the fittest guy, I don't feel like I look like the crowd, and it's hard to suspend the disbelief and enjoy yourself when the guy in the ring. I mean, if you're sitting in the front row, you think, oh, I could beat the shit out of that guy, or oh yeah, like he's 60, 70, 80 pounds overweight. He doesn't belong in there doing that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if I
No
may
different than you watch WWE. If
on the flip side of that,
if Hulk Hogan looked like us, he wouldn't have been Hulk Hogan.
but we have one chubby superhero among us.
Kevin Owens, salute.
Kevin Owens makes it look like if I gained 30 pounds, I could get in there.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing that out there. Like,
but the difference
I
is
smoke 5 packs of Cools a day, and
he does shit that none of us have any business even trying.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I got nothing but respect for him. But he's kind of like an every man. And Kevin Owens, I respect you, brother.
Yeah.
Look, speaking of being in
they
shape.
said it together. The fact that his name came out simultaneously.
Yeah, he knew exactly who it was. Hey, because that's the guy right now.
Because there aren't a lot. There aren't a lot of those guys. Yeah, again, most guys look like they're chiseled from stone, and they look like Ludwig Kaiser is a guy on Raw right now that literally, like, you look at him, I'm like, we're not even the same species, let alone both of us being human male. Like, there's no way that I could try as hard as I want and I'll never look like that. And that's the point. That's what makes him a good heel, is because he can walk out and be like this. Like, he doesn't even need a character. Just look at his 67-pack abs that he's got, and you realize he's better than everybody in the arena.
And every dude in the crowd's like, please don't make eye contact with me. I don't want to fall in love.
Right?
I mean, it's Samoa Joe. People like Samoa Joe and a few other people too, man, that really throw that weight around and have you thinking about what's your next career move. Because, like, if they can do that shit, I can do it too.
And then you watch Samoa Joe put a 300-pound man on his shoulders and give him a muscle buster, or you watch him go up to the top rope and do a freaking moonsault, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why he does that.
Bronson Reed jumping off the top rope about to crush you. Like, do you want to see that?
We got a viewer question. What's the worst bump you've ever taken?
Yeah, Levi Jones. Shout out Levi Jones. He been in here going in.
Yeah, shout out Levi. I've been seeing everything popping up. Gosh, man, let's see. I've got a plethora of them just on this wall back here. Like, in this match right here, I had my jaw kicked out of socket. That was fun. That was in.
Wait a minute.
I've had some injuries, and you got me going, oh shit.
Yeah. So
we talking about trying, and then you say John kicked out of play. Wait a minute.
Yeah, maybe I don't want to wrestle.
Yeah. So that match was fantastic. It was one of the first shows I ever promoted.
It was fantastic. Wait a minute.
Hey, man. Again, hey, I couldn't chew shit for like 3 days after that, but in the moment, you don't feel it. Like, the adrenaline's going, and you just you put it out. Like, it happened. It got kicked out. It popped right back in, and then you move on, and it's okay. Get to the next spot.
I need to
you just got to click every time you chewing something.
So like, and then you just like, and then
you got to.
It was in and out. It literally went. It just snapped right back in.
So I need a little bit more detail. Was it like, did you catch like some Sweet Chin music, or was it like?
So this was in the first minute and a half of a 25-minute match. All right. Took the spot onto the apron. Jake grabs the top rope, jumps up, enziguri, and I ate the shit. He hit me so hard. I was supposed to catch it and step off onto the floor to move to the next spot. He kicked me so hard in the face because he was so amped that I fell to the floor like on my back. He knocked my block off. And the funny part is we get a little deeper into the match and it's my turn to start really laying it into him. And man, dude, talk about Pat McAfee, all right, to his ribs like 3 times. And he leans to me and he goes, ease up. And I go, dude, you kicked my jaw out. Like we're
I'm about to
even
whoop.
now.
I'm about to whoop your
Yeah.
ass now.
And we get in the back. First thing, we're both, again, adrenaline's going. You're amped up in the ring. You're getting hit. Your body naturally reacts. Your mind naturally reacts to getting pissed off. And we get in the bag, and he's like, man, those kicks were stiff. I was like, yeah, I know. My jaw felt it. And he's like, what? I told him what happened. He's like, oh, my bad. And you apologize. You hug each other. Hey, all love. Jake Carter is one of my favorite opponents because not only you asked about worst bumps, that bump sucked, but behind me here, Fair Fight 2, Jake and I, about 4 years later, had a dog collar match where I took his finish, which is basically like the attitude adjustment, the FU, John Cena's move. We ripped the mats and the canvas off the ring during this match where I took it straight to the boards. And for those of you who have never seen a wrestling ring broke down, my ring
And that's what's under there.
is different pieces of 2.5-inch steel pipe and 4.5-inch steel pipe, 6-inch steel pipe, somewhere around there, and then 2x12s and 2x4s. That's it. And then there's like a mat that's like 1.5 inches thick. That all got pulled off and took the attitude adjustment directly on the wood. That sucked.
Stitches.
No stitches. I haven't had any stitches. I've had, let's see, the jaw incident.
But the
I
jaw,
dislocated
he
my
didn't have the
shoulder.
jaw kicked out, but no stitches. That is insane.
Yeah. Dislocated shoulder. I have spiked my heel twice and fractured it. Tore my groin. Hyperextended elbow. A few concussions, unfortunately. Gosh, like the injury list is. I had my forehead scraped off once by somebody's boot.
Thanks for asking, Levi. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So
yeah, because now I know. I just want to be a manager. I don't want to be the wrestler. I just want to be the manager.
But that's why that dirty F word. All right, that's the one because everything I do is scripted and predetermined. But ain't nothing fake. All right. So
that was to him. Look, the dirty F word.
Own that, big dog.
Hey, look, your dirty F word.
Hey, I had
our
first.
They talking to you, Pop. They talking to your ass.
Hell, the first women's match we ever had at my promotion because we had a women's division for a while. First women's match. Logan Couture went to go splash Charlie Cruel in the corner. Charlie was supposed to move. Logan eats the corner, but rolls back. She overshot it and hit the top of the steel pipe post and split herself here. She had, I think, 17 stitches across her forehead. Cracked the first 3 layers of her skull. Ended up having to have a mesh screen put in to help it heal back correctly. And you know, she poured blood was pouring everywhere. It was awful. I've had another guy snap the ball of his shoulder off, taking a razor's edge wrong. Felt bad for that one because we all thought it was dislocated. And so one of my guys who has some medic experience was trying to pop back in that dislocated shoulder that was actually snapped completely off for like 5 or 10 minutes.
Just raw bone, rub it on raw bone.
Yeah. So we were, that kind of sucked for him. But again, we all part of the deal is you walk in, you shake everybody's hand, you go to your opponent and you are giving them your life. And they are giving you their life. And we all know that at the end of the day, this isn't our career. This isn't what pays our bills. Make sure that we all come back the same way we went out. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Right. It's never on purpose. But obviously my dad calls it choreographed chaos. And that's exactly what it is.
Very, 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 very good wordsmanship right
now
there for that.
after hearing those stories, I understand why the wrestlers in the 70s and 80s took so much pain medicine.
Yeah. Hey, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time is Perk Angle. When
Perk Angle.
when Kurt had his drug problem where he was addicted to painkillers, man. Hey, that dude was already a wrestling machine.
And he wasn't even
went to
trying to
another
get
level.
addicted. He wasn't even trying to get addicted to him. That's the crazy part. Like,
Yeah, but he took it to a whole nother level when he couldn't feel shit.
He was
yeah,
eating
it
like
was a
4
wrap.
bottles a day, dude.
That's when we got Kurt Angle with the mouthpiece and the wrestling
Yep.
hat on. You know what I'm saying? He took it
Yeah,
back for us. You know what I mean?
the moonsaults that he'd do off the top of a freaking 16-foot cage is just like, and he would. The worst part is he would always take that bump where the guy would roll out of the way, so he's landed flat. And again, all wrestling rings are the same, and it's worse when he was doing it in TNA because they had the 6-sided ring, so there's more steel under there.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me these professional and the big national televisions is wrestling on that same?
Yeah.
My
How
ring
do you
that
think they make them?
my ring that I own started out in Memphis. My ring started out in Memphis in Mid-South. If you know Jerry Lawler, they were the original owners of my ring. My ring has actually been wrestled in. Granted, it's now just the metal structure of it because everything's been replaced. But the ring was actually wrestled in by Hulk Hogan against Jerry Lawler back in the 80s. So
Well, that's awesome.
You can't add no cushions.
I mean, you can, but it's a give and a take because the more cushion you add, the harder it is to move around in.
Right.
So
And to take them kind of bumps that you need too, like it need that certain kind of bounce. You know what I mean? For everything to happen.
The metal runs one way and the wood runs the other, so that way it's got that deflection in it. That's where the bounce comes from. That why people always think, oh, it's like a trampoline. No, that's wood and metal working together to and again, you hit it and you feel it.
James, they could wrestle in a foam pit if they wanted to, but nobody would watch it.
Nah.
Yeah.
So these are what the rings are made out of, pimp.
And that's what makes that sound, correct? That's what gives us that good slam sound, right?
Exactly. And the more padding, the less of that sound. Hell, we had a show a couple months ago where one of the spots that I had to pay extra for, shout out to Cecil, because I paid him an extra $10 because the dude's wild. He took a backdrop through a table from the apron to the floor
for $10.
Well, he got his regular pay, but I gave him an extra $10 for taking the spot.
Man, I'm not sure I'm signing up for this. Gas and food is expensive, but
I love Cecil, but I'm a good enough salesman. I could have sold him to do it for free. I just made sure that he got paid. So, but yeah,
man, it's a clip in y'all intro too that somebody got like y'all had a place where y'all did the walkway, and somebody had got like suplexed or something like right there on the ramp.
Yeah, that's yeah. So
they got
those
some painful ones up in there.
Yeah, that clip was Cole Roderick and Nate Matthews, and again, shout out Cole. He just wrestled. Gosh, where was it? I think they were at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York this past weekend for GCW. He's one half of the GCW Tag Champs, which is like their GCW is in that tier right below WWE and AEW and TNA, where it's like they're bigger than what I do, but they're not as big as the national worldwide guys.
So they had, what was that? Baron Corbin and Josh Barnett.
Yeah. GCW has Bloodsport with Josh Barnett. That shit's wild. That that Bloodsport stuff. There's no ropes on the ring. And they go out there and it's like death match.
Oh yeah, them clips that's been going viral on Instagram.
Yeah.
Hey, no, yeah, that's crazy, bro. Yeah, I just caught wind of that. I said these guys is out of control. No ropes on the ring.
Yeah,
like, how you do it?
It's ECW on steroids, is what it is.
I gotta know because I know I don't want to get away from time before. I need to know where Buck Sexton, right? Like where
it's the Buck
Sexton.
Where is the Buck Sexton?
Where is the Buck? Hold on. You need the Buck Sexton, huh? There we go. This was all within reach. What do you want?
Ladies and gentlemen, Buck Sexton.
Buck
The.
Sexton.
It's the Buck Sexton. Get it right, and you're not good enough to say my damn name. All right.
Well,
So
damn.
that's why I say.
I agree with him.
Hey, I've seen this guy wrestle before. I just needed to know Buck, the Buck, since we have you on our show. First of all, thank you for blessing us with your presence, the Buck.
Appreciate you.
Got that
We
right.
appreciate that because I know your time is money. So I seen you wrestle one time, the Buck, right? How long does it take for you to develop those skills that you have?
Well, some would say I was born with it because I'm just that damn good. All right. It doesn't matter how long it took because I just beat people down. All right. I'm not fancy. You're not going to see me go out and do flippy shit like half these motherfuckers on the independents do to try to get over. I'm going to walk out. I'm going to punch a motherfucker in the mouth and I'm going to knock him down. And if he gets back up, I'm going to punch him in the mouth again. And I'm going to kick him in the head and I'm going to choke him. And I'm going to leave him laying by the end of the night because it's all about getting paid. That's it. All right. Championships and paychecks. That's it.
That's all. That's all. That's all. Mr.
I
Can we say
respect
Mr.
that,
D
man.
Buck? Can we say Mr. D Buck Sexton?
You probably call him Mr.
You
Buck.
could just call me sir.
Oh, well,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Well, sir. I heard through Ron earlier. He was talking about, you know.
Wait, hold on. Is Ron
Oh,
back?
okay, is Ron back?
Hey,
Okay,
what's
like,
popping, y'all?
I was trying to ask Buck something, but he just
so
cut
look,
out. Like Buck, you know, he
I
just
came
one.
to a
I guess
show.
he one of them guys.
I came to a show, and I got to tell you, there's a few characters that stuck out with me, right? That was at that show, that wrestled at that show. There was a few wrestlers there. The cow guy was, what is his name?
Colby Jack. He man, that kid's awesome. I've known him since he broke in.
Young kid. He can wrestle.
Very well.
He can wrestle. I like that guy. I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan of the move, right? Because I like that guy. He can wrestle, and I like his style. The drunk, and he's drinking while wrestling. What? That shit was cold. Who was that guy?
Big Whiskey, Jared Kripke. He was
Big
actually
Whiskey.
featured.
I
He
like
was
that
actually
name.
featured in the Netflix documentary that they did on OVW. He is
Okay.
also going to be challenging for our heavyweight championship this coming Sunday at the Riot 4. That's our version of the Royal Rumble. So we're going to have a big Rumble match as well as a few other matches. I wrestle the president, Jeremy Hadley, in a briefcase on a pole match because somebody decided that listening to Vince Russo was a good idea.
Hey, I just seen. I just watched that.
I'm
I
just gonna
literally
throw this
just
out
watched
there.
that yesterday. I'm not even.
I've been following the promos and everything, and what
So
Jeremy Hadley.
if you've been
Jeremy
following
Hadley's
the
got all of
promos,
he's got his Taylor Swift
hey,
fucking
he is
Era
Taylor-
Store
he-
memorabilia.
he
I'm
is-
telling you
he
what's
is
in that
Taylor's
briefcase.
version of
I'm gonna tell you what's in
professional
that
wrestling.
briefcase. It's all the friendship bracelets that little kids just declined to take from them. That's all that's in that briefcase.
Jeremy is one of the first people that I contacted when I bought the ring. There was two people that I called, Jake Carter and Jeremy Hadley, and said, "Hey, look, I'm doing this. You with me?" And Jeremy's been with me since day one. We've been on the same side a few times for a while. We're now on opposite sides. We're going to take that briefcase and put it on a pole, and first one to get to it gets to use it on Sunday. So very excited for that. If you've been following the promos, then you've seen the most electrifying promo we've had, the one with the most views in months on our social media. My son is going to be making his debut this weekend.
I saw that.
He is very excited. He's got custom gear. He's ready to go.
The future.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yep.
So he's actually going to get in the ring.
Yeah, he's in the Riot.
I was about to say, yeah. Can you say if he's going to make his debut in that match or not?
Yeah, he called his shot. He said he's coming to show everybody what the future WPW is. So,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
Let's go, little man.
let's go.
dad is very proud, but also dad's in that match too. So, I will not hesitate to put him in his place if the time so presents itself.
Will it? Will it? It won't be Dad in the ring at that moment. It'll be
Nah,
the Buck Sexton.
you're right.
Yeah, yes, sir. That's what I wanted to hear. So, besides Buck Sexton, those were the three. Those are my three favorite wrestlers. That now, I'm not gonna lie, there's some great talent. That was my other thing I wanted to get to. Where do you find the talent that you put in your shows?
So I'm very particular. Me and my co-writer, I'll put it that way, because he's been talked about already on this podcast, and I don't want to break some stuff that's going on there.
Sure.
But him and I, when we work other shows, we pay attention to everybody, not just how they perform in the ring, how they are in the back. We really look for somebody that fits our family environment that we have in our locker room. That's more important than anything else to us, honestly, is who fits the mold of the guys that we want to have around us. And then it comes down to once we see that, okay, do we have something for them, and can they commit to us long term? Because a lot of independent wrestling, part of it is guys just traveling everywhere they can, and there's not a lot of story continuity. You can go out and have great matches and do all kinds of 750 what you do flippy flop motherfucks, but at the end of the day, we're all sitting here talking about what we loved about professional wrestling, and not one person mentioned any move. You mentioned the characters, you mentioned the
Right.
stories, because that's what sticks to you. And so we do
Yeah.
things different. We write long-term stories. We tell stories that get people emotionally invested to, because we know how hard it is nowadays. A dollar doesn't go as far as it used to, and if somebody is going to come out and spend $20 on a front row ticket, or some of the families that we have that come out and spend $80 to $100 on front row tickets, and another $20, $30, $50 at our concession stand, they're financially investing in us, and we want to
Hmm.
give them something to be invested in with us.
Exactly.
And so, we like to tell stories. So as far as like scouting talent, um, it's really, there's a lot that goes into it for us versus some of the other places that you can go and catch great wrestling. We tell great stories.
To add
Nice.
on to that real quick, do you guys have like an open door policy with any talent that you work with, where you're like, hey, I can, we can go work with these guys, like that's cool, but stay away from those guys. Do you like
Right.
have any
No,
like, policies like that?
no, there's a lot of clicks in this industry.
Is there a
I've had
code like you don't
there
work with people if you're working with someone else?
There can be, when I used to work in Columbus, there was two shows in Columbus. They both hated each other as far as the guys that ran the places. They both ran on the same night every single month at the same exact time. And if you were an HPW guy, you couldn't go to Emerge. If you were an Emerge guy, you couldn't go to HPW. And if you crossed that line, you definitely couldn't go back.
Right.
And so that happens. I don't hold anything against anybody that happens outside of my locker room.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen at my show, it ain't my business. All right. There's some guys that have flat out said they're not going to come work for me because of somebody I may or may not have on my card at the time. And to that just tells me that they weren't the fit that I thought they were going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, everybody in my locker room, once you walk through the door, again, your family, you get treated as such until you show me that you don't deserve it. There's a couple guys that have worked for me in the past that are on my no-fly list. They're not allowed to come back. But you know, that's the nature of the business when you have creative people, testosterone and adrenaline all in the same space. So
Agreed.
Oh, oh, great answer. Oh.
Well, as we reaching the end right here, Ryan, we like to do this thing as we call, championship trivia, right? And since we on the wrestling kick and we got you on here, the championship trivia, of course, has to do with some wrestling. And the question is, what was the first wrestling match to headline a major pay-per-view in history? Was it A, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, B, The Rock versus Stone Cold, C, Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes?
and see, I saw that on the preview, and I kind of had to giggle because two of those answers could be looked at as correct, but none of those answers are actually right. All right, because the first Starcade was closed circuit TV, so the early '80s version of pay per view, and it was headlined by Ric Flair and Harley Race. But the next year, Starcade 2 was headlined by Dusty and Rick. That was, the biggest Starcade
Yeah.
that
At
in
that time, they
history
was the
to me.
spectacle.
Yeah, and then obviously Hogan Andre WrestleMania 3 is the one that everybody looks at as like the match that put wrestling on the map.
Right.
So I mean, I'm a WCW mark, so I'm gonna go with Starcade matches because that's again without Jim Crockett Promotions turning into WCW. I'm not sitting here chit chatting with you all about wrestling right now. We might be talking Pacers, but we're definitely not talking wrestling. So, yeah.
He said you got to come stronger than that, Cap.
Hey, that's the one I had on deck. Please believe it'll definitely be more, that I'll be throwing out there for sure. Uh, on the close out, you want to give a shout out to anybody you want to promote some stuff. Of course, you just seen we giving you, what I mean, shout out for sure with the flyer.
Put that
Anything else you
visual
want to?
back up for Riot 4.
For sure.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
I've tried not to forget anybody in this. Obviously, again, huge shout out to my parents for letting me watch wrestling when I was a kid because I definitely spent a bunch of time in the principal's office for how much I watched wrestling. My aunt for being the one that really got me into it when I was a kid, being the one that bought me all my action figures and everything because my parents definitely were trying to curb my wrestling enthusiasm at one point. Um, Everybody that's ever helped me out in the ring, trained me, booked me, worked for me. Again, wouldn't be here without those guys. As far as my upcoming schedule, we've got the Riot 4 on Sunday. I'll be in Warsaw
Can you give us who these people are in this flyer real quick?
From the top, go start from the bottom right to the top left.
Gotcha. So we got the one in the white mask there.
Put your clicker on it, Cap.
Yeah,
I got it. Oh, I got to switch it back.
Let
me see. Here we go.
Yeah, so the one with the white mask on there, that is David McKnight, or David Knight, sorry, formerly known as Fireball, somebody that I have a lot of history with. Next to him is Brody Bodkins, our Warrior Pride champion. The two guys in the middle there of that row are Ruthless Domination, Hammer and Scorpion. Two great guys, been staples of our tag division the entire time we've been around. And Cecil Cervasis rounds out that bottom row there. He'll be taking on Brody.
I've seen Cecil rest.
Yeah, I just watched. They was just on the last they got a storyline going on if I'm not mistaken. It's like they just did like the last 3 events I think for real towards the end of the year.
Yep, and Brody laid down the gauntlet in his promo this week weekend that if Cecil can't beat him this weekend, he doesn't get another shot at him.
That was that. Yep, the last one was Cecil. Yeah, Cecil got to hurry. You got to come on, man. Cecil, come do your job, dog. Come on now.
Yeah, the next two up there, we've got Big Whiskey Jared Kripke there.
Yeah, my man with the mustache. Yeah, he nice.
and our heavyweight champion, Jay Beeve. Again, Jay Beeve, another guy that's been with me since day one.
He been
Real
putting in work.
fantastic guy. Hey, fun fact, Jay Beeve is a freaking middle school teacher, and this is how he spends his weekends. Like, we all come from all different backgrounds to do this. And then rounded out,
That's
of course,
dope.
with your boy, the Buck Showtime, the Buck Sexton, and the President Taylor's version of professional wrestling, Jeremy Hadley.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, y'all got that, ladies and gentlemen. Let them know where they can follow y'all at. And if they want to, if somebody want to, kind of do some business with you, how to get a hold of you if they want to, come and support the business.
Yeah, come on out to a show. We run generally the fourth Sunday of every month. Show always starts at 3, doors are at 2 at the Henderson County Fairgrounds. You can find us on social media at WPW 46122 on Facebook, Instagram. You can find all of our live streams of our shows on the Gonzo Sports Room on YouTube. Shout out to Chris and Tony for always coming in and hooking us up with great commentary, great live show feed from those guys. Appreciate them. And then if you want to get into the business, hey, come meet me at a show. We run training before every show. So you can, if you want to try to get in and dabble in it a little bit, you can come run some training with right now. IK3 Jonathan Wolf is our head trainer, 3rd generation wrestler. He is trained just when it comes to wrestling in Indiana, a who's who list of some of the best talent in the state. The kid's been doing this since he was 15. He's like 27 now. He is fantastic, like absolutely phenomenal, and couldn't be more humble of a kid. He's fantastic. Love the fact that he's helping our trainees out right now. We appreciate everything he's doing for us on that front.
Cap, you got the schedule you could put up real quick before we get up out of here while we wrapping it up?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Like I say, man, I just want to thank you, Ron. First of all, thank you for coming out, being on the show. Personally, as knowing you and being in Turner's Block, I want to say thank you. I appreciate it. Shout out to your pops. Shout out to your family, your kids. Shout out to your fans, Warrior Pro Wrestling, everybody. Just want to say thanks for coming on, man. Shout out to the Buck Sexton, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, man. My man. So just wanted to say thanks for coming on. We appreciate all the knowledge and info that you gave us, man. The deep inside look at the wrestling business, man, and what just made your mind tick and how you got into the business. Thanks for coming on the show, man. It's a pleasure.
I appreciate you guys.
Definitely.
I appreciate you guys giving me a platform.
I'd also like to thank you for being on the show. We got off to a rocky start, brother. We really did, but I think towards the end of this, you helped me win me back over, man. Once we started talking injuries, I was like, all right, an Ohio State fan getting injured, that ain't all that bad. But we appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, the good thing is, man, one thing we got in common is fuck Michigan, so
that's it.
Bet. I'm here for that.
So there's no two Michigan haters winning head to head.
Hey, James, you probably saw my post last night on Facebook. I was real proud to celebrate that natty, and I finished by saying I still want Ryan Day fired because you can't lose to those guys 4 times. Period.
Hey, you can't.
So, but the downside is he's probably got a lifetime contract now because he won a national title.
Yeah, he got a natty, dog. You got to deal with him a couple more years.
Yeah, they gonna keep him around another year or so.
Yeah, you got to.
You lose 5 straight, I'm out. Like I'm you can't. So
hey, I feel it, man. If we lost to USC that many times, dog, it'd be a problem. It'd be a motherfucking problem.
Hey, y'all.
I'll be over here like this.
y'all got a great coach, and where'd he go to school at?
Yeah, fuck Michigan.
All right, guys.
Hey, I appreciate
everybody say their farewells to Ron. This is the last time he's probably going to be. Hey, hey man, I appreciate y'all, man, in the community, man. For sure, man.
It's been a pleasure.
Hey, Throw the Tile Sports Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You already know who he is, man. Cap, King, Ace. And of course, Ron, the Buck Sexton,
The Buck
Warrior
Sexton.
Pro Wrestling, man. Once again, he said next week, y'all better be there, man. It's going down. And
Yeah.
it's just like that.
Y'all know what it is. Protect yourself at all times. And please,
Don't be a
please.
dick. Oh, sorry.
Oh, well,
That's
don't make us have to
That's
throw the
normally
towel
part of
in
the
on
show
your
too.
ass.
Yeah, my bad. I've been holding
But,
that in.
you know, Ace, let them know.
Don't be a dick. Like, comment, subscribe. Go ahead and
it.
start following Warrior Pro Wrestling. Start
Come on
following
now.
the Buck Sexton. Get in on this. It takes 0 seconds, $0 to just not be a dick. You know, so just don't
That's
be a
it,
dick.
man.
I get paid to be a dick, so I'm cool with it.
Hey, man, we love y'all like y'all love us, man. Throw the Top First Podcast.
Go Pacers.
Throw the damn towel.
Throw the damn towel.